right. Welcome to Triple Option. I'm Mr. 411. In the building with me is Coy, and we'll talk to him in just a second. The track that you just heard, music by Jay Tones, my brother Terrence Jones. Big shout out to Terrence Jones, music by Jay Tones at gmail.com. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Mr. 411. Same thing on Instagram, Mr. 411. All right, Coy, what's going on, my man?
Nothing much. What up, party people? Party people. What is good with y'all? Let's do this.
Yes, sir. And Coy, man, my football expert here, college football expert, and great college player in his own right. He won't tell you that, but I will. And man, we're gonna talk about a lot of things, a couple things today. There's Oregon. Are they legit? Are they the true number one team in the country? The University of Colorado Buffaloes. Are they legit? And we'll get to some Heisman talk there. And then also, do you believe in a couple teams? And I'm gonna throw a couple names out to Coy later on, and he'll let us know um, whether he believes in them or not, and then you can do the same. So you can do that also by following us on 401 Sports World Network on YouTube. Make sure you do that. That's 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. We definitely appreciate you doing that. All right. And Hot Tub Tony already has an answer to one of our questions in reference to the Oregon Ducks. And we'll definitely talk about that. Big shout out to Hot Tub. Coy, let's go ahead and first give us your take on your team, the Alabama Crimson Tide. They pretty much took Missouri to the woodshed. Were you surprised by that,
Not at
or
all.
do you think they're bouncing back?
I think I told you we can pit it in one of the earlier weeks when we went through SEC and all the highly ranked teams and we had the tiers. And I believe I said Missouri was a fake tough guy. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, okay. So no, I'm not. I mean, if since we're in that conference, what is shocking is
Yeah,
does that is the Vandy that Georgia State beat or the Vandy that beat Alabama? Which one of those two teams are true? Because Vandy gave somebody else another tough game.
yeah,
Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
right.
Texas,
Yeah, they
yeah.
are. They did.
So I don't know. I mean, what? So what can we extrapolate from that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about
So
that game, man.
hold on. Let's rewind now. Nobody is saying Vandy's a top 25 perennial powerhouse. But what I'm saying is, and nobody is no, and also, for because I don't want to have to hear my peers tell
You
me
know they
anything
will.
about I'm trying to be a Bama apologist. No. Alabama got his ass whooped by Vanderbilt, and they should not be in the top. The hell, they shouldn't. You ask me personally, they should have dropped them to 20. If they want to make the playoffs, they had to climb all the way back up. But moving along, okay,
There
right,
you go.
right.
Cool. You trying
But
to shut them down before they jump on you,
yeah,
right?
right.
All
Because
right, but
I'm just saying. I look at the fact that Vandy from what we would expect from a Vandy team, they've seemed to give a little bit more thought to some teams that quote unquote that they should have been ran over by.
well,
You
man,
see my
look at
point?
so yeah, but look at this, man. Vanderbilt, tough loss, but man, they held their own against Texas at home, and
Hmm.
man, this is an interesting team, Vanderbilt. They're definitely gonna be in a bowl game somewhere.
Of course,
They're definitely on track for that. But man, to be a top 25 team, Vanderbilt Commodores, like that is impressive, man. So
my guy.
it definitely leads creed to what you were saying earlier. But what about
Uh,
Texas, man? Do you think they real, or do you think what do you think about Texas? What does it say about them?
that's the whole point behind it. Are we really talking about Texas losing focus? I might go ippy a little bit when I swing through this corner, but are we really talking about Texas losing focus, or Vanderbilt is just a team that steps up and punch big boys in the mouth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does that make yeah? So I guess pull up what's up hot tub.
yeah. Big
I
shout
guess
out
we
there to
need to
Hot Tub.
I guess we need to pull up the rest of Vandy's schedule, and we'll because because I can't. I know they lost to Georgia State.
Right.
I wanna believe they lost to one of them other one of them other bottom tier SEC teams. Was it South Carolina or Kentucky they played? Can't remember.
Yeah. Well, if you can you hear me, Coy?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. So let's see. They they beat Ball State. We're going backwards now. They defeated Ball State at home by 10. By 10 now. And
Hmm.
then they won at Kentucky 20-13. And then that was then the Alabama victory, right? 40 to 35 at home. They lost to Missouri on the road by 3. Okay. They lost on the road to Georgia State by 4.
Hmm.
And then they destroyed FCS opponent Alcorn 55-0. So that's pretty much where they were. And where they're going is they have Auburn on the road next,
Hmm.
South Carolina at home,
Hmm.
LSU on the road, and Tennessee at home. So that's the next four.
So basically, are we saying that LSU? Well, see now they can't sneak up on somebody, so LSU should be more than prepared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because you that right does me. Like I said, they whoop when they lose to Missouri, beat Alabama. What's hey, that's what this conference is, and I'm Texas has not gotten the full experience. They just happen to run into the top dog in the conference, and they got a taste of what honestly Texas got a taste of what it takes to be the number one team in the conference. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I think
They
they're
they
getting
they
that
they
taste.
Well, they got that taste when they played Georgia because that was like, okay, here you go. This is the
Right.
heavy. This is the old king. Can you keep the old king from coming back and taking his throne? You know what I'm saying? So hey, they've taken out the Bama threat last year, right? They've been
They
talking
had that
on,
game.
yeah, they've been talking about the Bama beating the game Bama last year, and then they talking about the kick was to go take out uh, Georgia this year to prove that they belong. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I think what they were realizing is there's less breaks in between the games, if you will. Kind of like what we're gonna talk about later on with Penn State. You know what I'm saying? There's games that are played, and then it's like, okay, we're gearing up against to play Ohio State, or we're gearing up to play Michigan. But then you got like 3 or 4 game breaks in between, and that's something that Texas is going to have to adjust to. Is that yeah, you can play Alabama and you can get that win,
Can you
but
can you get
but
can you get
then
that?
can you get the other 5 wins?
Yeah, because your heart's gonna keep pumping because the
Right.
schedule's not gonna stop. That's the one thing about it.
Absolutely.
Nobody's gonna wait on you. The schedule's not gonna stop.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's get back to that Oregon question. That Hot Tony said Oregon's not legit. They are number one in the country at this time. They did blow out a top 20 team in Illinois, 38-9 home victory. So Hot Tub says they're not legit. What do you think, boy? And is there a big gap between them and the rest of that Big Ten conference?
Yes, there is a big gap as far as what Oregon and what they put together. Uh, are they legit? Yes, because I look at them like a team. Given any if you go a 1-for-1 winner take all game, you Oregon, I can pretty much say gonna be can win most can have a chance to win all those games. So they're a legitimate contender.
Mhm.
Now, are they the I guess this is my theory. This is gonna be my theme of the year. Are they the king? Are they the last man standing? Will they start to be? They're on the throne now? You know what I mean? They're
Right.
on the throne now, but as we see, there seems to be a new coup every week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
See,
it does.
every time I turn around, the king is getting his head cut off. So I mean, well, they got it right now, but can they keep it? Me personally, no. I think somebody's coming for. I think somebody's coming from their spot. I think somebody's coming from their spot, but I think they're in better positions than others because of the conference they're in, um, their conference is just not it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't even want to say it's top heavy. It's Washington's rebuilding. That was the biggest obstacle. Well, their coach is at Alabama. Don't got his head cut. Don't somebody done took that scalp a couple times. Uh, you got you got who else is roaming around there? USC is helter skelter. They're all over the place. They don't know their identity. Well,
Right.
Riles is better be lucky that he's in LA as you. I mean, he's better be lucky that he's a USC head coach than if he was at any other program of that tier, because they'll be coming for his scalp. There'll be no questions asked. They'll be trying to get him out of there. Uh, the Oregon States, the Arizona State, they're flashing the pans. Uh, Utah is kind of
Well,
on
well,
a
but
huh.
real quick, Corey. But real quick, don't forget about the expansion of the conference. So, what do with these other teams spliced in there now with Ohio State and all them. So, do you with Michigan and Ohio State getting victories yesterday, it leaves Penn State, that's out there too on the docket.
But we're talking about
In
Oregon
this
right now,
conference
right?
too. Right. And they're in that new conference, you know what I'm saying, with all these
So
conferences
so this
blending
so yeah,
together.
yeah, it's the first year of saying that it's going to be that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh well, I mean,
And you mentioned
again,
some of the opponents still, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
with
but that's what
Washington and
I was
all those
going.
guys.
Yeah, yeah, those are the guys that they're going to play. They have Oregon. Oregon's not coming that way yet. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's going to be on down the line before a championship game or a playoff before we can say. But I'm looking at what Oregon has, because the one thing we like these mega conferences, but there's also this thing called money, right? And how
Yes,
does
sir.
money affect mega conference? Because if me and TJ, me and Mister 411, Kobe and Brooke, all in four different conferences, and we decide we want to move to create a powerhouse conferences, the year if we say we're going to move and make this conference next year, you got to remember that also means we have game scheduled for that next year, right?
That's
And that
right.
also that also means, remember something, beyond anything else, college football thing is about bragging rights and about cash, right?
Yeah.
The
I put cash
university,
first.
yeah, but these when I bring up cash, because Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Oregon, USC, and we can go on and on and on with all the teams in those
Mm-hmm.
conferences, right? Have schedules that they are, and if they have contracts is that they can't. These teams, they have, some of these college football teams have contracts that the conferences have schedules that are 3 years out, and then it takes. So it's not that it's not necessarily that you can you that they don't want to take those games. Sometimes it is, but it's also the fact that the powers that be is like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna buy this team out, because sometimes the other guys say, I'm not gonna buy these teams that traditionally play a FBS team and slaughter them every year. And you're like, why does it seem like they always play the same ones? Because they got a multi-year contract, and
Right.
some of those schools that they got that multi-year contract are like, hey, my program don't make money like yours. This is a payday. I'm just not gonna just mutually disagree. I'm agree to go our separate ways, because it's not financially responsible to my universe. So but we give, so even with that conference will be maybe next year or the year after. Then it'll start filtering in. Then it'll start mixing up the games. But I don't. I mean, I think I've been on record before saying these super mega conferences is getting a little bit too uh what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out. Help me out.
I don't know,
Congested.
ridiculous.
What is it's no it's
Crowded.
yeah, it's unorganized.
Yeah. It's a
It's
little confusing too because
well,
I'm just trying to get used to. I like the different matchups that could come from it, but it's just a little confusing right now because you have a team like Penn State. Okay, they just played at Cal last week, and now they're playing in Wisconsin this week, and it's like, is this the Big Ten or even like a Big East matchup, and the
it's
game
the
is
big
over
it's the big
in Utah
well it's the
somewhere?
Big
You know what I'm
Ten.
saying?
It comes out. You remember Demolition Man? Remember
Yeah,
that old movie? Every restaurant was Taco Bell because Taco Bell is the lone survivor of the fast food wars. That's how it
yeah,
go. I mean, it's the Big Ten because the Big Ten this because it's. I remember a long time ago when I was around when another company bought the company I was working for at the time, right?
yeah.
And in his meeting in the first meeting we had, he said, let me get everything straight. This is not a merger. This is an acquisition. So we will be called blah 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 from now on. That's the same
Hmm.
thing. That's based with the Big Ten is telling the Pac-10 and whoever else. So
Yeah,
it's based.
that's
The
what's
world
happening.
has come down to Southeast and the Big Ten, SEC and the BTEN. Okay,
Yeah, that's what the college football world is starting to morph into.
right, right.
We'll
So
and we'll see what happens. Over time, it's going to basically, to me, I think you're right. It's going to be two conferences at some point. As far as on that, whatever you want to call that, P level, P5 level, it'll be P2 at some point. But
it,
Coy,
hmm,
Hot Tub is saying we've seen this before from Oregon. It's easy to be undefeated in a weak conference with a cakewalk schedule. That leads me to Penn State with their 7-0 in this conference that Hot Tub is referring to.
my rebuttal to hot tub.
What do you think about
Uh,
that?
my rebuttal to hot tub. If you name any other conference other than no, let's do it this way. You take Alabama, Georgia out of the SEC, and you take Michigan and Ohio State. They're all now every other now Oregon conference just is just the same as any other conference. What I'm saying, what I'm getting at is, yes, you're right. But the thing about it is, there's only four. There's only three teams in the rest of the country that influenced the power scale of the other conferences that you're talking about. That quote unquote are the big guys. Yes, don't get me wrong, because in the SEC is it's going to be Georgia alone, but in the SEC it's pretty much Georgia and Alabama has the national projection in the SEC that makes it like woo, you're not going to be able to survive there. And it just so happened for just so happened you had to make it to the East, and before there was a Georgia, there was Alabama and LSU,
Hmm.
correct? And before there was a Alabama, LSU, there was a Tennessee and Florida. You see what I'm saying? There's always, but and then here recently, yes, I will give you the mid-tier teams are stepping up a lot. But when we take out the Alabama, Georgias, Ohio States, and sometimes Michigan. And you look at the rest of these SEC and Big Team rosters, and they go out west and they go out to I don't even know what to call conferences anymore. But when they go to ACC and they go out to California and they go out to other places in Texas and all these other places, you will see that they I would guarantee you out of conference games for those guys in pure tight conferences, the records tend to be more peer to peer, like some years the SEC is the power company, Big Ten, Pac-10, but it's more like a 50-50, almost like anywhere from 40% to 60% win rate. So these other teams are not as soft as you think they are. Oregon, Oregon's biggest problem to me and some of those teams out there is that they play a different brand of ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the more finesse
And
game.
I don't know because anytime
Yeah,
somebody
as
child,
far as football
anytime
style, right?
well,
That's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of people say,
I
right?
agree. I hear that, but I'm one of the people. Anytime somebody come run at you, and they feel like you got hit by a car at 35 miles per hour, ain't nothing finesse about it. I would say they
The,
play a more open game. They play more spread offenses than they can go. Right.
well, what
Um,
about the linemen? Do they have that?
Well,
You know,
their linemen are built around the type of offenses they run. They don't have you can't run a up tempo. You can't run as fast break offenses like Charlie Ward did at Florida State, like that reference, don't you? And have a 6'6", 350 pound monster. Very few of those you can't find that kid that can keep up with that pace 24/7. You see what I'm saying? Because even if
yeah,
you start at 6'6", 350 by the time the end of the season go, so but you what you got so you build your team around what you got. You said you build your team around your strategy, right? The reason we really don't understand the effects of having national recruiting and being able to pick the kids you want, like the Ohio States, the Alabama, the Georgia, the Texas, and those type schools. We, I've always said it comes into those big kids. I can find if I look hard enough and fast enough, I can find a little fast guy, right?
There's plenty
But you
of
can't, right? Well, I ain't gonna say there's plenty of them. Don't get it wrong. That's still a top 1 to 10 percentile human talent being that fast. But the problem is, can I? But it's even harder when you start adding two. Well, I need that a kid that fast that can throw the ball this hard.
Well, I
Easier
will say this,
is
Corey. But I
yeah,
will say this, Corey. There's a lot of them that you can find because we talked about like at even at FCS levels and things like that. They have those type of players too.
agreed.
It's just the differences of the lineman, right? The
It's
size of
them.
the
It's that.
lineman or the
It's that
talent of that,
six
right?
six. It's that 6'6", 350 pounder that can run a sub 540 and can run all day like he's a power forward on a basketball team. Is what you can't find. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
But Oregon has. I mean, Oregon. If you look at the roster and you look at
Hmm.
they have players. They have players and they have
Yeah,
NFL. They have truly have NFL type rosters. They get down now. Truth. They have not they very seldom overcome the pressure that comes from the defensive side of the ball over here. But the team last year, even though they fell short in the end, they are a better representation because they're starting to understand how to play more of a SEC type football game, right?
yeah,
On the defense side of the ball, where you have to be able to send bodies and be physical, and your corners got to be able to play ball. Out
yes,
west,
sir.
and it's a thing. They don't play that type of offense. The kids, because they're biggest, they're west. They are a West Coast dominant team. So therefore, most of the kids are coming from West Coast high schools, and the predominant thing out there is a lot of the West Coast balling is in high school is 7-on-7 style, open game, quarterback clean shirts and get to throw a ball around. That is why.
Yep.
That's why. That is why. Whether we like it or not, as much as we talk about the Southeastern Conference, there's a reason why them boys out there, seeing them quarterbacks from California and out there, seem to be that much more ahead of the ones coming from other places.
Yeah, yeah,
They figured
definitely.
something out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So where you at with
But
Penn State and also Ohio State? So Ohio State kind of squeezed by Nebraska yesterday, and Penn State had their victory yesterday.
yeah, I saw that. I
Where
saw
you
that.
where you at with those two programs?
Well, Penn State keeps moving. Penn State's doing Penn State. I saw Penn State can do because Penn State is always going to be the third daughter. They're nobody's first pick to go to the prom. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I mean,
Yeah,
they
they
have
got
to,
to crash the party.
yeah, they have to. Everybody has to accept the scores, but it is what it is.
Yep. All right. Well, Ohio State with 21-17 over Nebraska. They came in there because they got blown out by Indiana the week before. Got the doors blown off of them, and then like they come back into the what they call it, the big horseshoe or something like that in Ohio State, and they really
Yeah,
showed up a little bit, especially defensively. They did. Offensively, Rayola them they didn't capitalize on a couple of interceptions and some turnovers there, but nonetheless, Ohio State did win the game, and we played to win the game, as Coach Green said back in the day, or was it not Coach Green? Um, my
yeah,
guy
we played to win the
Herman.
game. I don't play
Herman,
for spreads.
yeah,
I play the
Herman. We
game to
played to
keep
win
my
the
job.
game.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right, Herman Edwards. We played to win the game, and they did. So there's the race. I guess Ohio State and Penn State are pretty much the contenders right now up against
Yeah,
Oregon in this Big Ten conference. So which one you got as the one that's going to pretty much take it out, take them out?
Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State.
Yeah.
You forgetting about somebody?
Who?
You forgetting about
Indiana?
somebody, don't you?
Who?
No,
Indiana?
this for my. Aha! There you go. You right.
Yeah. Well, and they're
Say your
next.
name with some respect.
So well, they're next. They're on the next
Say
subject.
that name with some respect. No, 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 no. Say that. No, they on this subject. Say that name with some respect.
Who?
Give them their respect, TJ. Indiana.
Who is that? Oh, well, look, I'm one of the guys that's in their favor. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned the coach a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago about Indiana and what they're
Okay.
doing. But I got them in the next batch
Yeah.
for a reason.
I don't know. I don't know why the hell Indiana good either. This shit shocking shit out of me. I can't tell you. I can't tell you good one good reason why. I know what they do do. You want to know what they do? You want to know what they do, TJ?
They win.
You got it. You know you've been around me too long, brother. they don't figure one thing
Yeah,
out. If it's 1 second left and I got one more point, it's still a win.
and that's all that
Because
matters.
I've watched when you watch them play, they win whatever way they can at the time. They
Yeah,
will come in there and take your lunch, and they'll come in there and kick kids they'll come in there they'll come in and kick kids in the park. They'll beat up the bully. They right now this you know what you know what we're seeing. We're seeing a team that believes now because next year they're gonna be two and whatever. And it's the most amazing. It's one of the most amazing things to watch to me in college sports that you can. I mean, sometimes you get in pro sports, but sometimes these youngsters, these kids, decide what y'all say I am ain't what I'm going to be, and they just do what they're gonna do. Cause that's basically what's going on in Indiana. Cause you give
yeah.
me a good reason why Indiana's great. You give me one good reason why. You give me one good reason why at this point in the season Indiana's still an undefeated team. Mhm.
I can't tell you other than the coach, man. That's all I can tell you because I mean he has a record of doing this now everywhere he's
Yeah,
gone,
but he
and
also, yeah.
and some people are saying he's the next Nick Saban. That's some of the things I'm hearing out there now.
Well,
If you follow the trajectory, you know what I'm saying,
uh,
winning various levels. You know what I'm saying? Now he's into the Big Ten conference, kind of like, and then didn't that isn't that what Saban did? He coached at Michigan State
Saban went
before he
to
went to the SEC.
okay. Yeah, but here, okay, Saban path was a little bit different. He went to Ball. Was he at Ball State? Okay, Saban. Let's not. We make it seem like Nick Saban college football coaching career was like somebody found somebody, right? Do you know what Nick Saban did before he became a head coach over a college program?
What's that?
He was. You remember when the Browns left Cleveland, right?
Where they left Cleveland to go to Baltimore, or what?
Uh
What
huh.
are you referring to?
All
Okay.
right, that Baltimore that became later became the Baltimore Ravens. Let me give you a breakdown of what that team had. Belichick was the head coach, right? Ozzie Newsome was the GM. Nick Savins handled the DBs. Romeo Cannell was either a defensive line or linebacker coach. What was the offense coordinator? What I'm getting at is that's the coaching staff that he came from. Being then he moved to college. In other
Hmm.
words, he was a legitimate NFL coaching talent, and he took it. And after that debacle and sham that Art Modell pulled with the Browns, they broke the staff up. All the stuff happened. Blah blah blah. He ended up in college. I want to say Ball State or somewhere else. I can't remember. But and then he went to Michigan State. So his pedigree is this. So everybody says he's the next Nick Saban. No, he's the next whoever he is because your pedigree, most of these young guys' pedigree is not that same, not the same. You
Well,
follow
he
me?
did coach, but he did coach under Nick Saban.
Yeah, I don't
He
care.
worked under him. He coached in
Yeah,
the
he did.
Sun Belt Conference. He coached at
Okay.
James Madison. James Madison, which was a FCS program, and then moved into
Did he? Did
FBS.
he? Did
He
he?
he
Did he?
coached there.
Okay. Did he?
And now he's in the same conference that Nick Saban coached in, the Big Ten.
Okay.
So what would
Did
be
he work for?
next? An SEC team
What?
calls him up for a job.
Yeah.
So that is
Right.
similar.
Or it's similar, but it's not the same because you got to spend
Right,
your time.
similar.
You got to spend a good point of your. He got to spend his growth time into around Nick Saban, right?
Yeah. He was
Nick
under Nick Saban
Saban,
for a little while.
in a little while. Nick Saban cut his teeth and matured as a coach under with in rooms with Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick,
Right.
Romeo Cannell, Frank what's White's the coach White's, and cetera, et
Wise.
cetera, et cetera,
Hmm.
et cetera. Okay,
Right.
that is totally different.
Well, you're
and
saying that, I mean, that is a difference, and that, but all I'm
yeah,
saying is it's a similar path
yeah,
outside of the NFL path.
it's similar path, but I think I hate putting other people's legacies on the next guy when they're like when it's going to be uniquely his. We're it's like because even now look at we're focusing on talking about the undefeated team and the head coach is the secret, but because the secret is he's the next Nick Saban. No, he got no. You know what Nick Saban never did? He never go nine. He never go damn near 7-8-0 at Michigan State as good as they got. You see what I'm saying?
He did. He didn't.
Okay, give this man his own flowers. And all I'm saying is, whatever
And
he
I
what he
think we
got
are,
is
Corey. I think we are giving him his
yeah,
flowers. But it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, he's come from that tree of Nick Saban. I mean, they say it all the time about different coaches. You come under the Mike Krzyzewski tree or the Bobby Knight tree or somebody tree. Like, I mean, we have a tree. You know what I'm saying? Popovich
the
has a
Bill.
tree.
Well, it's all the Bill Parcells tree.
Bill Parcells, that's another good tree. Bill Walsh, remember him? He has a tree.
Tyrone. Do you know you know who the first two biggest branches of the big Bill Parcell tree is? If you,
Keep going.
who is considered the greatest NFL coach of all time as of right now?
I would say right now, Belichick. Belichick.
All right, now good one. Who considered the greatest college football coach of all time right now?
Nick Saban.
You know what tree they come from? They both work for Bill Parcells. They come
Exactly.
directly
So they
after.
come from a
That's what I'm
tree.
saying. That's why I always say these trees.
I think we
That's why
agree on that.
yeah, it's all. I think it's overhyped. It's overrated because I think sometimes talent got to start somewhere. And the thing about it is, talent gets around better talent when you get around successful coaches. You see what I'm saying? So yes, you can start,
Sure.
but I guarantee you, because what happens is you can get a really good coach, and they will raise the level of play of any team,
Hmm.
right? But if that talent is nothing, they have nothing to work with. That's what they work with, right? And we'll never get to see how far it's going to go with them because they just never have. But you take a really good coach and get him connected to other people that have the parts. You know what I'm saying? Have the coaches, have the talent, and together, and then he gets to work with those things. Then they get
Right.
noticed more. It's harder to get
Yeah.
noticed when you don't have nobody. You don't have nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have the ingredients. But you telling me bake a cake and all I got is some salt and some baking soda. I need
Well,
to
you
because
sound
you know what I'm
like Bill
saying?
Parcells now. Remember him
Yeah.
when Bill Parcells said he need the
Yes.
groceries? I think he was in Dallas and he said
Well,
he
no,
needed the groceries.
he said
Where was
if
he
you
at when he
want
said
me to
that?
he said in Dallas, he said if you want me to cook the meal, let me buy my own groceries.
There you
I,
go.
I, I totally understand it.
Hey, what Hato talking about here? He says that's a stretch, TJ. I want let me know what you referring to on that when you say it's a stretch, and maybe I can respond to that if you will. Hot tub. Coy. In the meantime, man, you talked about Indiana, right? You said, hey,
Hmm.
people need to give their flowers to Indiana. There's three more
Hmm.
teams that I'm gonna ask you about, and you just
Uh,
let me know what you think about the legitimacy of these teams. And let's go back to the SEC first, with Texas A&M defeating LSU. What do you feel about Texas A&M? Are they making that statement? Are they legit to you?
you know who they beat, right?
LSU?
You know who the coach is, right?
Who? Help me out.
Kelly. Kelly.
Okay.
You know I said he's don't belong, right? LSU is never gonna
You,
be LSU is gonna be win one lose one. Never they're not gonna have consistency back until they get somebody like um Les Miles or Ogeron around there. The man ain't the man. This is all off track, and I'm telling you, he too stiff to be an LSU coach. He ain't crazy. He ain't weird. He's never gonna be successful. He would never be successful until he leaves that house. Remember that. So go move along. I'm not worried about LSU
So
until they get rid of
what
that
about Texas A&M? Do
hmm.
you think there's a path for them to get out that SEC, get to the SEC championship,
No,
or you think they're gonna falter somewhere?
no. There's too many. There's. You got Texas. Am I mistaken? Well, I don't know who's left on Texas A&M schedule.
We'll work on that right now.
I know they got Texas, but as far as path to get there, you're looking for Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, all to falter, right?
Yeah,
And
somewhere in
then
there. Yeah.
Ole Miss already took his second hit. There, whatever.
Well, I can
If
give
I'm
you a
not
couple
mistaken.
games. I can shoot you a couple games right quick. They at South Carolina, where you know they got a tough D line. Then they got New
Mm-hmm.
Mexico State at home. We can go ahead
Yeah,
and chalk that up as a win. And at Auburn, that's a likely, more than likely win right there too. So those are the next
maybe.
three games. That's the next
Right, but
three. Oh, and then Texas on November
yeah,
30th.
that's what I thought. So it's they got. I mean, conference wise, if they,
They
matter of
should be
fact,
favored in the next three, right? They should at least be favored in the
yeah,
next
but I
three.
think I think I think Texas. I think uh Texas A&M is technically Texas' biggest game left. Look at the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I think
fair. If we're
that's
gonna
pretty.
get
I mean, that's the if that's that. If you want to go by a tough team, that would be the one. Because believe it or
whew,
not, as much what you see the
oh
schedule.
yeah.
You
I was
see the
saying you
schedule.
mentioned Texas. You mentioned Texas. Remember that was the first team came to your mind, and
Yeah.
that's the team they play at the end. So that game is going to really tell it all. I think they're
Right.
favored in the next three, but
Yeah, but
boy,
then Texas, what Texas got is who they got left because they got lucky. They only really got Alabama on. They didn't get Alabama. They got Georgia on the SEC schedule. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
And then I can't remember. They got Texas A&M left, but they should have the rest of their schedule should be winnable going into the West SEC championship. Agree? Because we
should
can
be,
all agree. And Georgia's kind of in the same category, right?
yeah,
Georgia's just finished. Georgia should be just finishing their gauntlet. I think they still got Auburn and the cocktail party left, but for the most part, Georgia
right.
just finished
Auburn,
their
Florida, probably Georgia Tech.
yeah, they just
The
finished
normal
their
teams they play every year.
right.
Hmm.
So Tennessee's a kind of a little bit of a wild card, I guess.
Yeah,
If can, but you got to so we can be expecting almost a rematch between Georgia and Texas. You see what I'm saying? Do we really want to see
yeah.
that? Also, that's the one thing.
Unless Texas A&M can get that W over Texas.
Maybe, I mean, but I doubt it. Uh,
And there's
I doubt
Texas remaining games right there. Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky. I mean, they should win those three,
it.
especially with Kentucky being a home game instead of at Kentucky.
Mm.
I think they should, but I think they should
And
run this
then
gauntlet here. That
and then
Texas A&M game is gonna be everything, bro.
and what I'm trying to think, how what Tennessee got left? Let me
Oh,
see.
you got Corey?
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to see what Tennessee has left?
Yes.
Well, we'll work on that
Well, you can
and
hold off on
see.
that. You can hold on that, but then so there you go. You got Georgia. You got Georgia, Texas,
Yeah, I
and I
I
want to
can read
say
to you what Tennessee has left. Tennessee has
okay.
Kentucky, Mississippi State. Those are two home games. At Georgia, then back home against Utah, and then Tennessee Vanderbilt, November 30th. So
And
you know,
okay.
it is a lot
So
left to be done. A lot
yeah
of work left to
Tennessee's
be done there.
Tennessee and that's the third. So that'll be the odd one. So can Texas A&M overcome Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas? They have to overcome two of those three teams to be in the playoffs.
Hmm. Yep.
And that's yeah. So and that's
All
you still
right.
got to
So
remember.
we'll see.
At the end of the day, Bama's only a two-loss team.
Yeah, we'll see.
Regardless,
But right.
we tend to think that the team the complete collapse of the season, but at the end of the day, that's only a two-loss team. But go ahead.
Yep. So hot tub. He says Auburn to beat Texas. Auburn to beat and Texas. That's tough schedule for them. Yeah. it is a tough schedule, man. So
Hmm.
it's still a lot of work to be done here and a lot of good matchups left. But that Texas A&M Texas game is going to be very interesting. I'm intrigued by the Tennessee Vandy game too down the stretch, just to see what kind of implications that have as far as the playoff. Like it will have playoff implications and bowl game um, matchup
You
type deals
listen
down the
to the
stretch.
Tennessee fan put up a sign and said the last time before they played Bama, before Tennessee played Bama, the last time Bama lost to Vanderbilt was 2 months or 2 weeks
Yeah.
or whatever it was, and Tennessee was 3,000 days, blah blah. They basically a whole bunch of years, almost 20,000,
Okay.
some a whole bunch of years. So what they
Yes,
basically
sir.
saying is it'll be a cold day in hell before Vandy beat their ass. So
Yep.
let me tell you something. You know what what I see out of this Vandy team? Don't say what they can't do because we said the same thing about Alabama. They said hell can freeze over and we'll fight and they'll fight on the ice. Do you go, Vandy? I like these. I don't know why I like these little upset-minded teams that I know ain't going to nobody's bowl game and it don't matter. But god dang it,
Well, it's
go
good though, man.
Vandy.
It's good to have that, that influx of some new challenge, some new disruptors, if you will, and that's what they are right now.
TJ, you grew up.
Uh,
TJ, you grew up with me. You know, at my core, when I grew up, I was a
oh,
knucklehead. I like to fight, and I'm telling you, so I just like a little joker that just don't give a damn and just gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
what I'm liking
yeah,
about. That's what's so crazy about Mandy. They
yeah.
basically a nerd that would they you mess around you mess around and find out this little nerd a BJJ black belt.
Well, oh, hey, Corey, I'm trying to get you you're in
Colorado
a tough
before you run
spot
out of
there.
town.
Yeah, you kind of breaking up a little bit there, but
Mr.
I got what you were
411.
saying about Vandy.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, you here, you kind of getting in and out, but if you're back, tell me about BYU because you remember I mentioned them a couple weeks ago, and they're still winning. What do you
oh, here
think,
we
man?
go.
Are they? What about BYU, man?
I
Are they on
clipped.
your radar now?
I, cl- I cl- yeah, I clipped out, but yeah, they are because I gotta respect
Okay,
them. I respect them.
Corey, Corey.
But yeah, I respect the record. Yes, can you hear me? Yo,
Now I can. Now I can.
Mr. 411. All right.
Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
No, I said I gotta respect. Okay. Are we on? Am I delayed or are we together?
No, you're good now. BYU.
Okay.
Are you
All
starting
right.
to come around a little
I
bit
got
on
to
them?
I got to Yeah, I am a little bit because I got to respect the record and they don't. You can only beat who they can. You only can beat who you play. But it's gonna be one of those things where what are they gonna do when they get out there? And it's these teams are good now. Now, pure talent leather. Understand when we take out Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and a couple of more teams in that ilk. Yes, they're those are the teams that just the talent level is way different. But for most part, when you start looking at these other teams across the country or whatever, the talent levels tend to be similar to close. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All right. So
they're in that
yes, they got
batch.
to play. Yeah, they're in that
Yeah.
batch, similar close. We're gonna see.
Yep, we definitely will. Hey, Mike has a comment. We love comments, and thank you, Mike, for yours here. He said he hoped these two know Big 12 views are the worst they have ever been. I guess he was referring to us when he said these two. Colorado views are down 49%. Same time last season reported. Big 12 is awful after they're after the great programs now. Okay, so Mike, we appreciate your comments there. We did talk about the Big Ten a few minutes ago, and Corey, can you summarize your thoughts on the Big Ten for Mike?
He's talking about the Big 12. He's talking about
Oh, Big
Colorado and
12. I'm sorry, I need to put my
he's talking
glasses
about
on.
Pac-12. He's basically talking about the Pac-12. He's basically
Oh,
Pac-10,
okay,
Pac whatever.
Big
And
12. Oh, Big 12.
we have not even discussed them yet, but we will get
Yeah,
to
my
them.
bad, Mike. You're right,
Mike,
Mike.
Mike,
Big
Mike. Oh,
12.
I'm gonna save your heart right quick because if you keep reading the clickbait that my co-host put on them thumbnails, you gonna have a heart attack because he'll have you throwing the screen. We have not
Hey,
touched that
man.
subject. However, we totally agree with you that they've the what we consider the Pac-10
Yeah,
technically, the USC, USC, UCLA, Oregon, East Oregon State,
they used to be a
Arizona
pack. Yeah,
State, California Bears, Washington, and am I missing somebody? Stanford. We'll agree that conference has actually been cannibalized. And to be honest with you, Colorado.
Coy, hold on, Coy. I know we.
Mhm.
I hate to put the brakes on you, but his question is a great one. His comment is a great one, and we're gonna tie that in to the Colorado conversation.
All right.
I want to make
Okay.
sure we tie that all in, so you don't have to say everything you're gonna say over again.
Okay.
But definitely, Mike, you're correct about the Big 12. Uh, I misunderstood there when it said I went Big 10 on that. I got my glasses on now. So Big 12, we're with you on that. And we're going to talk about it in just a second because we want to talk about legitimacy of Colorado. We got one more team to cover, and then we're going to jump into that. And I wanted Corey's take on Miami. The Hurricanes, they're still undefeated as well. Cam Ward is having an excellent season. But now for me, I just don't trust who they've been playing. So I'm just holding, reserving all my,
Let me ask you a
take
question.
on them until they start playing some teams
Let me
that I
ask,
think are legitimate challengers. What about you,
let me
Corey?
let me ask you and all the Miami doubters a question.
Yes, sir.
Do they play on grass or turf?
Both
Is the football any bigger or smaller?
has nothing to do with who they're playing against.
That's what my
So I'm
point
at
remains. It's still the same game, and they keep winning. And what we fail to realize is these same teams that they every time they slap a team in the mouth that we thought was good or was going to be the next good team from last year, all of a sudden that team just ain't that good, so we can't trust the record. At what point do we have to give them their due? Now, like I said, we're watching the Game of Thrones, right? Right now, college this season is the Game of Thrones. We don't have one thing we do not have to worry about. A pretender will not make it to the end because some of the true contenders have gotten their heads taken. You see what I'm saying?
oh yeah.
Miami is deserving to be the number two, number three team, and possibly number one team. Because to me, Miami is no different than Oregon, right? Or Penn State. They all sit on the same respects level as far.
Mm,
Hmm. Only
but
reason
go
why
ahead.
y'all treat only
I'm
reason
gonna
why
let you
y'all
finish your
treat
thought.
Miami less is one because of the Florida State debacle last year, and
One.
and the ACC because Clemson's not the Clemson monster that it was 2 years ago. Because that was the only team that everybody respected in the ACC for the last few years, for the last 5 years. I'm not talking about historically. I'm not talking about historical Miami. I'm not talking about historical Florida State. I'm not talking about Vate. But for the last 45 years, the gauge of that conference has been how good Clemson is, and we don't respect them right now. Go ahead.
And that's why I reserve judgment for partial of those reasons. If you can you still hear me, Corey? I just want
I
to
hear
make sure
you.
you can hear me. Okay, so yeah, so they beat the Gators, right? Down team, beat Florida A&M, FCS program, beat Ball State, was that Mac, beat South Florida, and okay, it took a Hail Mary at the end to beat Virginia Tech, who's unranked. They beat California by 1 point at the very end, unranked team. Louisville, unranked. Florida State, unranked. Miami's next, unranked. Georgia Tech is after that, unranked. Wake Forest, unranked. Syracuse, unranked. So those are the reasons why I'm just holding judgment. I'm not saying that that keeps them out of the playoff or anything like
All right,
that
let me ask you a
because I
question. Let me
believe,
ask you a
because
question.
I believe they earn it, like you said, by winning games. So I'm
All
not
right,
taking away that they're winning. I'm just holding reserve on how strong of a team they
all right.
are.
Okay,
So
now
what you have to say to
hold
that?
on. At what point how high was Florida State ranked this season at the highest?
Maybe well at the very beginning of the season, I think there was maybe top 10. I don't, top of my head.
Okay, all right, all right. Now they
But
not
they're
letting
unranked,
Florida.
and they've been
Hold on,
unranked
hold on,
for
hold
they've
on,
been
hold on.
unranked for
No,
weeks.
no.
They've proven that they're not legit.
You're
That was based
beginning
off going into the season, Corey.
hold on, Tyrone. You beginning your argument before I finish giving my information. asking for my
No, no,
information.
no. I just want to make sure that's clear because I don't want that to be misinterpreted.
I'm just asking for a simple question, and you providing dialogue beyond the question.
Correct.
Was they ranked at some point? Was Georgia Tech ranked at some point? Right?
Yeah, at the very beginning of
Okay.
the season.
That wasn't very beginning season because they started season
Yeah.
unranked, then they became ranked because they put some whoopings on some
Remember,
people.
Florida State got whooped
Oh
by
yeah, they
at
whooped
home
Georgia Tech.
by
Yeah,
by
my point
by
remains. Okay,
Boise State. I mean,
here,
Boston College.
Georgia Tech. Yeah, I get it. I get it. My point remains is not Cam Ward. What? Okay, when you look at that kid play, right? Are you impressed? Do you think he's make?
Yes.
Do you see what he's doing against D1 caliber corners?
Yes.
In
Yeah.
okay, all right. So it's fair to say that that kid's legit, right?
That's fair.
It's fair to say
He was
that
legit. He
even
was legit where he was before that. He was legit in
yeah,
Arizona State.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's fair to say that
Brett Brett Favre
he
played at
elevated
Southern
that
Miss
team.
and went to the Hall of Fame.
Hold on. It's fair to say he elevated the level of those kids, right? That team.
Yeah. Yeah. No question.
It's also fair to say that what I'm saying is fair. Is it fair to say that the state of Florida, right, is one of the top three recruiting beds in the country, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Is it fair to say the majority of those kids come from the state of Florida, from the most richest fertile grounds in the country, one of the most richest fertile grounds in the country?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so it's fair to so then we can translate that to say that there's probably abundance on talent on that team if it's put together and ran right, right?
Okay. Where you going with this though?
Meaning, this is why I give them a legitimate shot, and I don't call them a pretender because they have all the ingredients there to do exactly what they're doing. It's just whether it's coaching, whether it's picking the wrong good kid in the bunch or whatever. Miami should be a top three program just for the fact of where it is and how and what is allowed to recruit.
Okay.
Because every time you get a coach there and you get somebody, a visionary type coach that learns how to get the most out of that particular area, Miami becomes
Mm-hmm.
a top five team. You can go. What's the first one? The nut. What's the funny here?
What course?
Smellenberger,
Okay.
uh,
I want you to get
Johnson.
wrap your point, and then we go,
All right, let's go.
and
Yeah, we
then
got it. Yeah.
okay. So you're saying that they're legit, as far as
Yes.
talent in the area, things like that. I don't question that
Yeah.
one bit. I just only question when the opponents that they're playing and when they're playing them, whether they're ranked or not. That I'm just all I'm saying is I'm not taking away from them. I want them in the playoffs, and then
Hmm.
I want to see them against something just a little bit more, a little bit stiffer, and then I can make my decision on that.
Fair enough.
But I love what you're saying as far as like, hey, this
All
is
right.
the state of Florida,
All right,
and they got
TV land
legit
one
QB.
TV land one quick thing. You see how he cut me off to get to the next subject, then gave his
Hey
dissertation, and then go to the
man,
next
I
up
give you some.
on the Colorado coach. Let's
Hey,
do
hey
Colorado.
man,
Let's do
hey,
Colorado.
I can't wait for this segment here. But before that, real quick, just yes or no with Notre Dame. Well, how you feel about them?
No,
Okay,
no,
all right,
no.
no, all right, no to
And,
Notre
and I'm
Dame, guys.
and
All
I'm
right.
gonna go pray. I'm gonna go pray about that tonight because I don't want no problems with the big guy. But no.
No to Notre Dame. All right, let's get to Mike's question about statement about the Big 12. Hey man, the Big 12. Yeah, you're right. This is a conference in question, in my opinion. I don't know any real stiff teams there, but let's throw up a couple of the teams. I think Kansas State may come to mind as a team that's pretty ranked, but they barely beat Kansas yesterday, and it took the quarterback from Kansas to just cough the ball up in crucial moments of
Hmm.
the game. So I don't know the legitimacy of that, but just looking at this conference as a whole, it's not really strong. Like I said, we just talked about Wyoming, BYU as well as another team in that conference. But hey,
Right.
that leads us to the
And
legitimacy of Colorado, man. They did win. They beat Cincinnati, who's in this
hmm
conference now.
hmm But that conference is just
Um,
that
anyway,
conference is
is Colorado legit, Corey?
what define
Go
what you
ahead,
mean by
finish your
legit.
thoughts, Corey, and then let me know what you think.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying.
legit? What do you mean by legit?
Okay, here we go. Because Coach Prime is going to say, he's going to say, do you believe now? Do you believe now? Right? They have six
No,
wins.
well,
Uh,
see, okay,
we
okay,
need we
okay.
need new haters. That was in the press clippings this week too. We need new
You need to
haters because the
what
old
new?
haters have
What they
become fans.
of
So
what?
that's what I mean by this. He's
Of what?
sticking his chest
Fans
out. He's
of
sticking
what?
his chest out. Of Colorado. He's saying that the haters have become fans of his team now because they're winning games. So I get so my question is, are they
Hold
legit?
on, hold on. No, no, they're not.
Okay.
And now and see, I'm actually I'm actually been on record to say I'm willing to see where this program growing. I get see
Yes, sir.
I have a love hate relationship with Dion because
Okay.
he's selling his product, which is he's supposed to do, right?
Correct.
But if we break down that team, what have I got to say? One, do you have a quarterback for next year, Mister? We're here now. Do you have a quarterback? I don't want to hear about you. Just gonna have to see. Answer the question. I don't know. I mean, that's a question that's got to be answered, right?
Correct.
Two, do you have a wide receiver and a corner to replace a generational talent that you had at both positions
Ooh.
out of one guy? Boom. All right, that's there.
Ooh.
Will your defensive line has players here and there and show glimpses, but for the most part, still getting pushed off the ball? Will they be intact, and will you start having the size and the talent there to affect the present? And that goes for the offensive line next year. Now, if we want to analyze it in those ways,
Yes,
then
sir.
no, they're not legit. But if we want to say this program, when he got it and what it is now, it is something special. You see what I'm saying? The vibe,
Yes.
the atmosphere, everything he's done
Yes.
to promote that program is dope as fuck, right? He's
Right.
done what he
Right.
needs to do to build his program. But when you go, but my problem sometimes with Dion and a lot of other people, when you give, there's nothing wrong with giving fair, balanced critiques and giving my opinions as I watched the journey start, right?
Correct.
But the problem is people, fans, and that's what they call fanatics. If you do that on a certain on us about their guy or their team, you're a hater. Not a hater. I want Dion to be successful. I won't. Now but there are some other coaches that I will like. I like when you remember when you said a guy that I think very highly of. He should go to Auburn. No, he's not. In my opinion, let him go to another program, build him a program out, and then he rethinking and he goes to another program. You said he goes to then all the skeptics are gone. You see what I'm saying? And then he
Mm-hmm.
kind of find his way, whichever way it is. That's all I'm saying. But but if you say something about your particular tribe, that means you're hating and you don't. That means you don't like your tribe. But when you just giving your honest opinion, is my honest opinion right or wrong? Hell, half the time is right, half the time is wrong. Just depends on who gets it, right? But I guarantee you, half the people is gonna work for it, and half the people is not gonna work for it. So what do you want me? You want
Yeah.
me to shut up, or give it to the people, or give it to the people that need to use it? You see what I'm saying? That's the way life goes.
Yes, sir. So can they win the
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
12, Corey? Can they win the Big 12?
Can they beat BYU?
Ooh. Ooh.
The
That's a
questions
good
are there.
question.
And then the next
So
question
so
is,
do you think but do you think they can beat BYU? Do you think they can win this conference
I think it'll be, I think they have a better chance of beating BYU than some other teams. But I mean, they
in
need
the
to find them a
conference?
conference. Yeah, they need to find them a true conference.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we can look at some of these wins, right? North Dakota State FCS program, right? Not as many
Hmm.
scholarship eligible players as FBS programs. Okay, they went to Nebraska, got smoked, and we seen Nebraska get beat down by Indiana, and some other
We
teams.
also seen Nebraska almost upset Ohio State. But go ahead.
Almost say Ohio State, but yeah, but got blowed out by Indiana,
I'm just
right?
hey
Blowed the
hey
doors
hey
off,
hey. What did I tell
right?
you? You go up and you go down. If that mug say I on your schedule, you better be
Okay.
ready. Because I'm
Yes,
trying to
sir.
tell you, because you might, because your record might be incomplete when they get finished with you behind. All right.
Right, right.
You remember
Tough
you
game.
drop a class and take an eye. Indiana, I ain't that ain't kind of like that.
Yeah,
It's go
yeah.
okay.
And Khalid Cass has a comment here. He says Colorado's legit. When that offense gets rolling, they are unstoppable. We appreciate your comment there, guy. We appreciate you
I don't
hitting that
disagree.
subscribe button.
I don't
Corey, make
disagree,
sure you
bro.
hit that subscribe button too.
Yeah, hit the subscribe. I don't disagree with you, but my question to you is, when we say legit, are we saying is Colorado competitive compared to the 1 to 2 3 team games? Yes, they're competitive, but I don't know. Me personally, legit is we don't have Nebraskas. You see what I'm saying?
Ooh, yeah,
There's gonna. Obviously, every dog has his day, but
yeah,
that's not my concern. We don't have, I don't have my offensive line and defensive line. My offensive line, every time I watch a game, I don't have them stalemated, and I don't have my defensive line taking a step back to rush the passer because they cannot get off the ball and dominate the line of scrimmage. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
I'm a firm believer this. I want my defensive line playing playing 1 foot behind the center toward the quarterback. Meaning, and when the ball snap, we're telling you that you're going to lose the first step in the first half a yard is ours every time. That means, and that's telling you I control this space. And my offensive line, I want when the ball is snapped, we should be doing the opposite, controlling almost a yard, basically a full half a yard on the other side of the ball because that's the phase of dominance from offensive defensive line. They're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You can't have that all the time, but I don't. I very rarely. I can really say that I don't see that happening with that team on the front. And I'm an offensive line, defensive line type of guy first. But but as far as strides forward, again, we cannot deny what he's done to that program. He's done the first thing he done. He's created interest. So now kids want to see what the hype is about. He's got kids from South Florida and Georgia, brain screwed up that they think they want to go to Colorado where it snow all the damn time. He did it. He did the damn thing. He went.
yeah.
So
He's an
yes, he
influencer.
did
You know
it.
what I'm saying? He's a super
Right.
influencer. I mean,
He's
look,
he's a, he's an influence and he's a
Travis
hell
Hunter.
and
He had Travis Hunter go to HBCU, right? I mean, out of freshman
right.
year, not like sometimes where a lot of where there's be some FBS players and then something goes wrong at the program and then they go to HBCU, after
Right.
they've been maybe done wrong somewhere or whatever happened, or
Mm-hmm.
not getting playing time. Travis
Yeah.
Hunter went there right out of high school, and that's the kind of influence that Deion Sanders has. So, I think
Mm-hmm.
Corey, this is one topic I know me and Corey are aligned with, and if and Corey mentions it, and he said this a couple years ago, even at Jackson State, got to get that O line and D line together first. Deion can get you the perimeter guys, but he until he develops that O line D line, that's when we can get into that next step. You know what I'm saying? So I'm holding judgment until they play some different level of competition because they're kind of playing against like teams. They're playing against teams
Yeah.
that are
But
like them. You know what
well,
I'm saying?
we all got to understand something. And that's because when the conferences fall, you know what I'm saying? When the big
Yeah,
when the conferences fall, the big corporations, the big teams are going to always come in and start scavenging off the pieces they legitimately want, right? We all know that Colorado up until Dion's getting there was a 2-win, 3-win team in 4 years or some crazy crap, right?
right.
So that's not so nobody wanted him. That's what we also got to remember. Ain't got nothing to do with Dion about his color or anything else. When it came time for the big boys to come snatching up teams, that team was not desirable. We look at it like now.
Yeah,
Colorado is basically back in the Big 12 conference that is basically his home conference. But Colorado has been jumping from conference to conference because they have any power because they've been trying to create an image of notoriety since What was quarterback? What was coach back then? Start with M.
Oh,
The since when B enemy Salanusis McCarthy. They've been
oh
trying
yeah,
to be they've been trying to recreate an image that's left been gone since McCarthy. Even they've brought in Rick Neuheisel, bunch of black coaches. They've been doing everything they can, but they trying to get that old. They've been trying to get that old thing back when they had McCarthy as their
yeah,
head coach, which they had a pretty good run. They got a taste
yeah,
of it.
man.
I mean, now if you think about it, what happened was Pete Carroll hit Florida. I mean, hit Southern California, right? People wonder why does that matter? The guy went up to Washington, and Chip Kelly hit Oregon, right? Why does that have anything to do with Colorado? You waiting? You do you understand? You know what happened? You know what that did? Hmm?
What's it do now? Does it help bring
It,
some West
it,
Coast players over there?
no. It Colorado bread and butter was a bunch of LA guys, a bunch of
Right.
South Central. I mean South
Yeah,
Southern
yeah,
California
like it.
guys. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? You with Kelly at Oregon with uh old boy SC and the guy at
Mm-hmm.
Washington. Guess what? The kids ain't gotta go. Them kids ain't going out to California. They ain't going out
They can stay
to
there now.
Colorado.
They can
They
stay on
staying
the
down.
coast.
That's
Yeah.
right. So now you don't get the Eric Bieniemy. You don't get the Murad Salim. You don't get Marco Cole. A bunch of guys. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now and now
So
and now your pool changes.
yeah,
Dion, but see Dion now is coming back doing the same thing. But the difference is Dion's getting these boys from down here,
right. He's gonna get some Florida boys too.
Florida, Georgia,
Um,
and Texas. That's where he's from. That's his.
yeah.
That's his point. Yeah.
Well, look, I think yeah. I mean, to say that they're legit, I think we're saying that they're better than what they were,
They
and
are
that's a
legitimately
great
a
and that's a great start.
they are
It's a
legitimately
great
a
move.
15. They are a legitimate top 15 to 25 team.
Mm.
I think that's
Well,
fair.
okay.
I
I'm gonna
said
go.
15 to 25.
Okay, and hey, nothing wrong with that. Uh, I'm gonna stick more in that 25 the 35 40 range
Okay.
as an overall team. That's just where I'm at with it. So if you put
Yeah.
the two together, I think me and Corey think that they could definitely finish in
Make
the
the
top
top
25.
25. Yeah, it makes yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
until
if you
but
think that's
no, but
legit, then there you go.
and all I'm gonna say to you is if you think it's legit not to win national championships and that's the best you can do with your team, go find you something else to do. So until they get into the conversation of the one, two, or three teams that's winning a national championship is not a complete success. Hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
Now,
And
you can
and
decide what your success is. But as far as me sitting here and being commentating on college football, until you hit those numbers, you ain't doing nothing in the realm of the big boy game. Now, understand you can have a program that gets a lot of people in, sell a lot of Georgia jerseys, get tickets, do all the
hmm
stuff that you
hmm
want them to do. But that's cute until you win until you get that banner.
yeah.
Cause that's
And I
because I
think
hate
this
to
is
tell you, because
uh
it all goes in stages. Y'all and even you, that person I'm talking to that's telling me that I'm a damn lie and I'm gonna love my team regardless. Once you get used to winning, once you go from 0 to 1 or 2 wins to 5 to 6 wins, you're gonna want 8 and 9. And you're gonna say, if we can
yeah,
get up to 8 to 9, I'm happy, we're cool, we're in the game. Once you get to 8 to 9, you're gonna start saying, we need to win. We should at least get a conference championship, right?
yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah,
goes
yeah,
on and then once you win the conference championship, all of a sudden you'll get in your brain that I need a national championship. And when that coach that got you all the way up to the conference championship every once in a while, good bowl game, top 10 finish, but never win a national championship, once he's 10, 15 years in line, you're gonna fire him because he ain't getting the job done. You're gonna forget about all the other stuff. If all your fans are the same way. So
hey
just
Corey.
just just go ahead.
Hot Tub
Go
says
ahead.
not bad for Dion's second year, coming from a two-win team. And all I'm gonna say in response to this is, okay, if you get a team that ain't did nothing, then improvement is not that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like if you didn't take over a program that was like a 7, 8 win team, you know, year in and year out. You took over a team that had 1 win or 2 wins. So if you win 4 wins, you doubled your win total. Like, but are we gonna jump up and down for a 4 win team? And all I'm saying
Go ahead.
is
Well, hey,
it's better than what it was, and that we can
but
leave it at that. But we're not gonna make it
exactly.
like seem like it's it's
If you
like
want
world
my
beating.
opinion, if you want my opinion, go back to about 4:13.5 seconds and just listen out. It's good right now. It's
Yeah.
good right now. Sounds good right now. But
Hmm. Because
you
here's my,
know,
oh, go ahead, Corey. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
mean, you know what I'm gonna say. Everybody, all the fans want more. It sounds good now.
Yeah, right. It's
And
cool
and
now, but what happens
and then
when
right.
you
And
know,
the
just like
sad
last season? Remember, they won the first couple games, and
and the
Wu
sad
Tang
say the
Clan,
sad
everybody was out there, and
fix the
now the
move
Rock
on.
was out there, and but where they been all season?
Here's
Like, you know what I'm saying? When they played legitimate teams, like when I say
they
legitimate team,
show
when
up.
they played some power teams, it wasn't even a match. And all these wins against Cincinnati's and things like that, okay, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's better than nothing. But
No, it's not even that.
we
It's not.
we
See, I
already,
don't.
but we don't talk about teams that are in that realm all season. We don't talk about teams. You know what I'm saying? We just ask questions. Are certain teams legit that's on this list? BYU, you know, other teams like that. So I mean, are we gonna jump up and down for them too, or are we just idolizing Dion? But go ahead, Corey.
Exactly. Because we tend to forget we tend to act like he's the first and only black head coach at a major university.
Right.
But my
But
point
Hot
my
Tub
point
says he
like
don't think anyone's jumping up and down for Colorado. I a good point there, Hot
nor
Tub.
should they. Oh, Kata, there's the prevailing. You know better than me and TJ know. There's this group of people that if we have any critique of Dion being um less than the savior to college football, we're hating on him. So my point being is, what do we want? We want fairness and equality, or do we want fairness and equality with biases? Just saying,
Mm, good
because at the
point.
end of
Good
the
point.
day, because at the end of the day, we know what success, quote unquote. I don't want to hear about in our world, whatever. But if you're playing chess, there's a move that says you win the game, right? And the
Hmm.
same thing goes with every other quote unquote game sport that you get into that the man created or whatever. There's levels to winning. Are we gonna change the rules and say you're still a winner and you're still the greatest, even though you're 7-5? Or are we gonna say,
There's nothing else I can say after that statement.
all right,
There's nothing else I can say after that statement. So
yeah, yeah, I'm
yeah,
on one. I've actually got some. I actually got
yeah.
some legitimate rest for a change. Because the last few weeks, folks, I have not had energy,
Man, you
but
sound like it,
I'm
man.
with.
But and not to reveal what you do, but you do something that's very vital to our country. And so we really appreciate what you do out there, man, because a lot of people take what you do and what your people provide us for granted. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure, for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, we about done. I appreciate the comments there today and the people joining and subscribing. Mike, we appreciate you, my man. Khaled, we appreciate you, Hot Tub, and everyone else that's been responding all week. Man, the page has been going crazy all week, man, and it's very interesting there. Hot Tub with another comment here. Corey, in the meantime, uh, how do you feel about the top 10? Are you pretty much good with it? You know, who do you pretty much have in your top 10, and then we can roll out.
Miami, well, Oregon, Penn
LA.
State, Miami, and then pick the rest. Well, I guess you can go Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia, Texas,
Hmm. Oregon,
or Ohio State. No, Oregon's
right?
one. Oregon, Miami, Penn State. 1, 2, 3. Right. Then
Ooh,
we
okay,
go.
all right, all
That's
right,
my opinion. Because like I have, then we go Georgia.
okay,
Then we go Texas.
okay,
Yeah, I think Indiana's like 12 or 14. I will slide them in at 7, and I will slide
okay.
BYU at 8. And then You can pick who
You got
you want
Ohio
then.
State somewhere, right? You got
Oh
Ohio
yeah,
State
Ohio State.
somewhere.
I thought no, I got Ohio State sitting there, right behind the. I got
Six.
Georgia. I got Georgia, Ohio State at. No, I'm sorry. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State are
Okay.
three through six, right?
Four,
Or
five,
three, four,
six.
five,
Four, five,
4, 5.
six. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then you got the Indiana, the BYU,
Mm-hmm. You got a
and
9 and 10 somewhere in there.
9 and 10 would be double back to maybe Tennessee or hmm, I guess I don't know. Hell, make the Catholics happy. Don't
Oh
do nothing until
man.
they lose the game. Because I mean, I don't know. It really don't matter though.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm trying.
Oh, that's a good top 10, man. That's a good top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any problem with you, especially your 1 through 7, 8. I mean, we're pretty much your whole top 10. I'm good with, man. I mean, if there's a way we could not put Notre Dame in there, that would be great. But I understand. We
I
understand the
mean,
biddies on that.
you could either do Notre Dame or Alabama. You can do any of them guys. Just them
Yeah.
guys. Them because what's going to happen? What people's like? Oh, I tell y'all, Alabama's going to be in your playoffs. Just, I mean, on in order for them not to be in the playoffs, they got to lose again because there's going to be too
Yeah.
many people. There's going to be quite a few teams that drop down to the two lost teams, and
Yep.
when it's all said and done, you're going to say Alabama lost to Tennessee, and you're going to say, what about that Vandy loss, right? And then you're going to have Georgia sitting at 4 or 5. Because the odds are they're not going to lose unless they lose in
Ooh.
the SEC championship. And then
Mm-hmm.
Alabama's going to say, but what about the Georgia win? Just just
Mm.
food for thought.
Yep.
Anyway,
Man, a lot of questions left to be answered. And Hot Tub says Oregon's questionable, but he'll accept it. I think a lot of people are gonna have to accept it at this point. They're just there right now. But hey, they have plenty of opportunity to get knocked off. So we'll see where it all ends up. But as of today, I'm with Coy on that. They're one. Um, they didn't do anything not to be one. So they get it for now. All right.
right.
Well, appreciate you being on, Coy. Appreciate all the
No
comments,
problem.
all the
And good
folks.
folks, and good folks, and for about the lie to you, I would say once every 2 to 3 months, I would sit down and me and 411 would chop it up in this format for y'all. Y'all seem to like me and him just going back and forth and bouncing ideas with each other. But
Hey
understand,
man.
this is literally going on over 40. I know we can say at least going on 45 years of friendship. The reason why we can go back and forth like this, and really, realistically, we hitting 50 years. But anyway,
Yeah.
to the fans, to everybody, have a good one. We're out.
All right, Coy. Take it light. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you next time. We are gone.